AMD puns about Ryzen to the top or anything like that? Have they used that yet? Anyone? All right, so let's take a look at what AMD's doing here. We have a new, new chipsets. We got 3 of those. We got a new CPU. We got a new GPU, and they're saying they're all going to be out in Q1, but not March 31st before then. They're just working out a few more kinks. Price points, I know you're getting all the main questions out of the way. Price points, they haven't come up with it yet. They're working on it. They want to know what you guys think, so they're going to get some feedback from you guys. The overall frequencies and that sort of thing, sorry guys. But let's talk about now what we know and what we can talk about, and that is that they have done some interesting things. They know that you guys want to build ITX. They know you guys want to build really powerful systems. They know you guys want to build, come over here, take a look at the chipset while we talk through this. Want stuff that's future-proof. This is the X370 chipset right here. So we got the standard ZIF socket right there, the 0 insertion force, which I really like these sockets. This is the AM4 socket, and it's going to be compatible with not only the CPUs, the Ryzen CPUs, but also the new APUs that are going to come out, and the next generation of the Zen processors that are going to be coming out. Should be good until around 2020, or until we get like GDDR5, because then you'll need to add some more pins and that sort of thing. So that's what we got here. Now, this is the top chipset, the X370. Now, they've created a special chipset just for ITX for you guys. And the reason they've done that is because they wanted to make a nice small chipset, so you don't have to lose. Like if you're doing like an Intel ITX build, they have to just take the regular chipset and chop it down, and you end up losing, one of the slots for NVMe. So with this one, you'll be able to get your Gen 3 by 4 slot, so you can have NVMe and your GPU, all the options. So that's a big thing. Like all the I/O on all these boards, including the little one. They said the chipset's about the size of your pinky nail. It's kind of ridiculous. This is a B350 right here. And the difference in this one, just fewer bells and whistles, and also you got smaller power face design. But get this, all the CPUs are multiplier unlocked, all of them, Intel. I'm talking to you guys. They're unlocking their i3 about right now. I can hear them doing it. You guys hear them doing that? So anyway, that's a really cool thing, and you'll be able to overclock on all of these motherboards, except for the lowest end motherboards. Those only have 4, power phases, and that's mainly to keep the cost low. So if you're going completely budget, those are going to be locked mainly for safety. But with the entire rest of the line, you guys can overclock. So guys, looks like we got some competition. We saw the benchmark in Doom. We played Doom. It's fast. I don't know what frequencies those were running at. I need to get my hands on this and do some real world testing. But if the price is right, we could have something really cool here. Also, let's take one quick look at the I/O on the back of this. So you guys can see on the back, I'm just going to cover the keys. You're going to have USB 3.1 Gen 2 on some of these, depending on the vendor, and you'll have Type-C on some of these as well. This one's got, dual gig Ethernet, and, just all the fancy fixings. You got on board there, that's HDMI. So just you guys can see what's there. There's also USB 3, 3.1, but 3.1 Gen 2 is sort of special on there. So expect to see different iterations from different vendors, but I'm liking what we're seeing here.
I could probably play if you want me to play.
Either one.
You want to be the guy? I can be the guy.
We got Scott here, but then Brad's going to take Scott's place, and we're going to show you guys Doom running on this, if it ever would focus.
Okay. Good.
All right, you guys are looking at AMD, Vega, and Ryzen. New GPU, new CPU, and dead. But I want to show you guys the FPS. Running at 4K, completely on Ultra, and also Vulkan, of course. 77 FPS in the menu. All right, let's see what it's like in the game. You're murderous, just absolutely murderous. My word, that wasn't nice at all.
No escape.
There is no escape. Now, a lot of you guys build your own systems, but if you wanted to go and maybe grab an Origin or Main Gear, PC Specialist, Overclockers UK, whatever, you have a lot of different choices here. And these systems were not made specifically for this event. These are all systems that you're going to be able to grab from Cybertron, iBuyPower, Ryzen paint job right there. And then some of them have, hard tubing. We've got standard tubing. I like that hard bended tubing. Reservoirs, just, whatever you want, you can pretty much find it. But looks like there's going to be lots of support from lots and lots of different system builders out there. So this video is kind of a waste for you guys because you can't actually see what I'm seeing with my eyes because this camera is not HDR. HDR, 10-bit, well, per color, so that's 10 and then 3 different color bands. It just looks ridiculous. This is an OLED display as well. The blacks are ridiculous. All I'm going to say is if you know anyone who has one of these things, you just need to go over and take a look at it, because I haven't seen color like this. It's almost too vivid, like scary vivid. So yeah, here's my chance of doing it justice, but it ain't working. We're checking out EVGA. They've gone all in on everything. We've got water cooling units, we've got new motherboards, we've got a new laptop, and we've got a redesigned graphics card with a totally new heatsink, totally new cooling design, and they've got some secrets on the PCB. So let's start off with the new case right behind me. So this is the DG7. You guys may have seen the bigger brother, but they decided to make it smaller, and the idea is still the same. The front of the case is what you would normally think of as the side of the case, because this is what you want to look at. If you put this on your desktop, you don't want it sideways. You want to see your components and everything. So we have the nice tinted glass on the side. So you got all your I/O right up here on the top. Pretty nice design, and there's plenty of room in here. So 400 millimeters of space in the front there for radiators. You could possibly put a radiator up here on the top as well, but there's not going to be an extreme amount of clearance with the motherboard and possibly either your water block or whatever heatsink you have on your CPU. So let me just go ahead and take this glass off without breaking anything. Oh, got the GTX 1080 classified in there. So as you can see, we've got a lot of space to work with. Now, you're going to be able to, oh, I like that shroud. Thank you so much for giving us a shroud to hide all of our cables. It's very important when you're, aesthetically looking at the case all day. So they've got their new water block on there. We'll show you that in just a second. But as far as the storage goes, you can fit 4 2.5-inch drives, or you can do 2 and 2 with 3.5-inch drives. All right, I'm putting this back on. Let's go and check out the motherboards. All right, we got the Z270 line, brand new stuff, Kaby Lake from Intel, and then here's EVGA's offerings. First thing I want to show you guys is the Z270 Stinger. Always like these Stinger motherboards. This is ITX, of course. Now, they have added a few things compared to the 170. Mainly U.2 support right there, so that's really awesome to have U.2 support. I'll go ahead and show you guys the I/O on the back so you can see that. Only a few power phases, but decent little heatsink there. And then also on the back we have an M.2, so that's pretty cool for a little guy. Then the next step up is the 270 FTWK, and still got your U.2 support. Decent power phases, and I'll show you guys the I/O. You got lots of power if you need extra power for 2 or 3-way SLI, extra power down there. There's the I/O on this one. And if you want to step up one more time and get the big guy, you can do that. This is the Z270 classified. Mainly just more bells and whistles, more ports, more power, 2 8-pin on the top, more power phases, bigger heatsink on here, and there's the I/O on the back. Ooh, look at that little guy right there. Hey, how are you? Oh yeah, the killer on this one. So that's where the killer nick starts on this one. So yeah, cool. Pretty loaded. All right, like I said, EVGA has gone all in with water cooling. Now, first off, they've got the closed loop set up right here for a lower price, but they have quick release, and they have lots of quick release. Check out this, 360, 280. That's a fat one right there. But yeah, you just basically come and pick the one you want. And then you can actually get extensions as well. If you wanted to get extensions for quick release, you can get that. And they also have GPU water blocks in addition to the CPU water blocks. So plenty of stuff here. And of course they have, a water-cooled hybrid card to go along with their system. So that's that. Now speaking of the cards, let's go around and look at the rest of the GPUs. So they say they fixed all the issues with the cards that they had in the past. Got some of the weird press. And this is the new GTX 1070 SC2 with a brand new cooling unit. This is the ICX cooling unit. Now this one, so first off, there's a front plate, and that acts more like a heatsink. Redesigned fin layout, redesigned heat pipes, and then on the back we have a back plate. Now normally back plates are just going to be for rigidity and also just for style, but they've actually put thermal pads under certain parts, and there's a lot of mass here. So thermal pads here, thermal pads here. So just lots and lots of mass and cooling. Then on the back we have these huge vent holes, and that actually helps lower the temperature a little bit. And the other side, it's hard to see right there, but they've actually poked holes there through the fin design so that the air can move through there and get out the back. So that's pretty cool too. The last thing they said, they've done some secret stuff to the PCB to make it just work better, cooler, more efficient, and they're getting some patents on something. So it's very mysterious. They won't tell me what it is. I don't know. Last thing I want to take a look at, well, last two things. We got a new laptop and we got some other stuff. Let's go over here. The new SC15 is here, KB Lake on the inside, and also a GTX 1060, but it has 6 gigabytes of memory. And it's just a 15-inch version. You guys saw the 17-inch version last time. Similar, extremely clean aesthetic. And also, this is not as super thin, but it's still pretty thin. In my opinion, this is about as thin as you should be when you have a decent graphics card in there. Yeah, this is a nice little lip right here to easily grab and lift the monitor. I actually think it's, no, I don't think it matters for that comfort for your hand, but this is freaking sleek. You guys may have seen the G3 line before. This is the smallest 1,000 watt I think I've ever seen right there. And this is 80 plus gold. And it also has the eco feature where the fan will turn off if it's not drawing a lot of power. If you're just chilling in windows, it'll turn off. Fluid bearing fans, 140 millimeter. So huge fan, small, and fully modular. So if you want to save a little bit of money, they've just released the new B3 line over here. It is very similar in specs, but these are bronze. They're still 80 plus, but they're bronze. So little more waving in their ripple, but it'll still get the job done and save you a little bit of money. I'll be recommending a lot of these, I think, for our budget builds. All right, we're checking out Thermaltake. These guys seem to like they come to these events and just throw a whole bunch of stuff at the wall, and then they get feedback from you guys and then turn that into something interesting. Sometimes things don't come to the market, sometimes they do. We're gonna check out some really awesome case mods, but first let's take a look at this Donkey Kong thing. We'll start off with one case mod. We'll come back to a few other case mods that are pretty interesting, but the Donkey Kong just straight up old school Donkey Kong. We got the bended tubes. They put the barrels on the tubes. Mario there on the bottom. So yeah, representing the old school arcade with this very new fancy. This is the Tower 900 case, by the way. It's got an interesting aesthetic. I'm curious to know what you guys think of this case, the way it's mounted. Interesting. The GPUs are mounted on the top there, so and it's huge, by the way. You got your fan controls down here. Looks kind of like a beer fridge. We also got separate compartments over there. But we'll take a look more at that in a minute. Let's take a look at some of this. How about some open wall hanging love here? This is for ITX. This is the P1. I'm going to take this off so you guys can see what's under the hood here. The theme on this one, I don't even know. I bet the bronies are excited right now. People who like Rainbow Road are excited. Pink, go for it. Why not? So anyway, this can be mounted on the wall, put on your desk, whatever. Just an interesting looking case. Got the riser there for the graphics card, and then the acrylic machined fancy water block there. So I'm going to put this back here and just not put it back on there because I'm a bastard. Let's check out the new ring fans. If you guys want a full-on carnival in your computer, you can have it. So right now what they've got is lots and lots of different zones here if you look at the software. And you can control up to 5 fans on a single controller. So let's say, okay, I want this one just to be different color, all of them blue. Let's see here, these green. So I'm just like messing with it, and it's ridiculous. You got different modes: breathe, whirl. Oh, look at them whirling now. Let's make this yellow. It's almost too much, but I guess the idea here is you can do anything you want. And then, like they said, you can use up to 5 over here in the software, up to 5 different fans. They only have 3 configured in the system right now. But just a bit of ridiculosity. Speaking of ridiculosity, can you guys handle? RGB makes everything faster, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, check this out. So this is, of course, not a real product just yet, but they decided to put sort of the ring fan aesthetic right here, right on the water block. So this may be something coming to market. They're already talking to Ace Tech about that. Might see that happen. Also, we got some new fluid. They got actual black, and you guys can see that here. I think that looks really interesting. Would it be better just to have black tubes? I don't know. I think this is an interesting aesthetic. You don't want to sleeve your own cables? They'll sleeve them for you. We got all these different colors. Rainbow Road going on over here. Just lots and lots of different sleeved cables you guys can check out. Versa C23 RGB. Again, RGB everywhere. RGB controls right here on the outside to control your case with all these different freaking RGB modes. So there's that. On the inside, the thing I like about this case is, it's got a decent aesthetic, but on the inside, it's hard to see without this. It's just very open, so you can do pretty much anything you want with it. So this will be an interesting case to look at. I showed you guys the View 27 before, but now I just wanted to let you guys know that there is a white version. So if you wanted to do a black and white build or something like that, you can mess with the white version right here. let's look at these case mods. Avatar, anybody still watch Avatar? The most popular movie of all time. That was kind of a strange thing, but he decided to make, this is Mark, by the way, Mark from precisioncomputing.net. He decided to make this entire Avatar theme. You've got the tree of whatever, I don't remember the movie. You've got the Papyrus font down here. The only way you could ever get away with using that font is by saying that it's Avatar, and then we'll just blame Avatar for using that font instead of the actual creator. How about that? So anyways, he's got the PC of Souls instead of the Tree of Souls. Got the Avatar eyes back there on the back plate for the GPU right there. I was like, what the hell is that thing called? I don't know. GPU there. Got our bended tubes going everywhere. And let's check out the back. He put the tree on the back of the Tree of Souls or whatever it is. So that's Avatar. Let's move on over and this one's a mod from Stuart Tonks. And you see here just nice presentation in the Tower 900. A couple GPUs in there. Nice bended tubing. Interesting the way he's wrapped the sleeves over top of the tubing right there. And then, like a lot of his systems, he likes to put these little screens in here. This is running into a PCB that has plenty of outputs, but they're just using HDMI around through the back. Really clean looking build. White PCB on the motherboard. Now, take a look at this one here. Mike from Belgium has created this one, and I can't believe it made it all this way. So the first thing you're going to see when you look at this, you'll see we have two pieces of, two acrylic pieces right here, and then we have these channels machined for the coolant. And behind that there are the straight tubes and the bended rigid tubes and all that sort of thing. But this is, it requires a lot of work, guys. This takes a long time, and then being able to ship this and still have it intact and not leaking is pretty freaking impressive all the way from Belgium. So another thing that's interesting about this is a standard, I believe, the P5 case, but we have a totally machined bottom on here. This is some thick aluminum, and all these channels and lines and all that stuff have been laser cut. So that looks really freaking cool. But this is the big thing for me. Look, two GPUs, two GTX 1080s with, custom water cooling blocks on there and everything. But look how far apart they are. How can they possibly be using that? He made a 1 meter long SLI bridge, custom. And he said it actually runs sometimes 1% faster than a regular. How the hell do you make a 1 meter long cable that runs better? That doesn't make any sense to me. That's like the most ridiculous thing I've seen all day. And then of course we've got two really long SLI ribbon cables, or an SLI, the PCI Express ribbon cables here coming out of there. So that's just a bit ridiculous. Last but not least, we have a JP modified system right here. And mostly just let you guys look at this. It is also in the Tower 900 case. So let's see, I've got the robot theme going on based on Titanfall 2. And there you have it, just a clean system.